Okay, welcome to this lesson talking about email, evergreen, subscription or enrollment. So these are all options available to you for delivering your course. And the reason that I gave you the quote from Jay Baer on focusing on how to be social, not on how to do social, is that your course delivery is very much an extension of how you interact with your students. And that will determine, to a large extent actually, the success that you might see. So the things I want you to think about: the business model that you have chosen for the delivery of your course, your availability in giving your students attention, in giving your students access to you as the course trainer, and also your introversion and extroversion preference. Now, obviously, this is not necessarily about being shy, as any introvert, and I am one, will tell you it's about where you get your energy from. Now, I absolutely love delivering face-to-face training courses, and that's great, but it takes a lot of energy out of me. And it's the same with doing things like webinars or live Q&A chats, or even sometimes recording videos. So you need to think about all of these things when it comes to the type of delivery that you're going to offer with your course, because it will have an impact on the sort of availability and your energy levels. Okay, so let's look specifically at email courses. These are usually done with just plain text, and you deliver them maybe once a day, perhaps once a week. You don't necessarily need a hosting solution for these, but it really can help, because with a hosting solution, normally you would get some kind of automation, and this can be called something like a drip sequence or something like that. If you don't have that automation, or you don't have some kind of responder provider like MailChimp or ConvertKit or ActiveCampaign, Aweber I think is one as well. If you don't have something like that, you're going to have to do it manually, and then that's going to be a hugely labour intensive task. If you have any sort of numbers of students, anything more than 10 really, is going to make it a real hassle for you. You can use more than plain text in your email courses, but if you do want to include videos and that kind of thing, then you're going to need somewhere to host them. And yes, you can do that on YouTube, but then you are requiring people to be able to have internet access in order to access your course, and they won't necessarily be able to download those videos. Most commonly, email courses are used as a list builder. So if you've looked at other lessons, you will listen to me talking about things like building up your niche audience and your tribe. So email courses are very commonly used as a list builder for that kind of thing. You can also charge for an email course. You don't have to make them free, but just remember the rule of thumb, which is whatever price you charge for your course, the course itself needs to deliver 10 times value, and also additional support. So just have a little think about that. Now, this is perceived value. There's no calculation for what means value. It's not necessarily length, and it's not necessarily the type of delivery either. It's really how the students see the quality of the information that they're getting, and that is something that you can get through feedback. So just remember that one if you're thinking about charging for any type of course delivery. What we're going to look at now are evergreen courses. Now, these are ones that are always available, and they're standalone courses. So you make them, you put them out there, and the student can access them 24/7, 365. And it's not something that you have to necessarily pay too much attention to, but you do need to have some kind of hosting solution for it. And it's usually a mixed delivery. So video, audio, text, handouts, whatever that is. It's also quite usual to have some kind of support group, which you can be very plain about and say that you don't personally moderate it, but it's a support group for people who are on the course. You're relying on them to monitor the community themselves. It's sometimes also referred to as passive income. Ha ha is what I say to that. There is no such thing as passive income, unless you are in the realms of somebody like Frank Kern, who has Infusionsoft, which is the most expensive automation software you can possibly get. I mean, we're talking hundreds of pounds every month, where he's already recorded absolutely everything that he's going to do, and it just goes out on an automation sequence, and it's all monitored according to what you've done and what you've clicked on and what you haven't clicked on. That might be called passive income, but certainly the realms of what we're talking about, there ain't nothing passive about the work that you're going to need to put in, I can assure you. You do want to keep your Evergreen Courses fresh, and so what you want to do is just go back and check your information every now and again. You might find it cringeworthy to watch yourself, in which case get somebody else to watch it for you, just to check and make sure that it is still up to date. What you're telling people hasn't gone out of date or hasn't changed in any way, or perhaps there's a better way of putting that information across. What Evergreen Courses also do is give you more flexibility in your update schedules, so you're not tied into delivering information at a certain time on a certain day, which is different to the other two, subscription systems and enrollment cycles. So with a subscription system, this is usually for where you have more than one course to offer people, and you are giving them regular and reliable updates to the information that they're getting. So they pay you, say, a monthly fee, and on that basis they will get information on a regular basis from you. You will need a hosting solution with some kind of membership functionality within it for this one to work, but there can be quite a big administrative burden on this unless you are prepared to pay quite significantly for some of the higher end membership solutions for that. That's fine if you've got a VA or you've got a team of people who are working with you, no problem. But if it's you on your own, then you want to think about the administrative burden of having some kind of subscription system, particularly as well with thinking about refunds or people that want to stop their subscription and what that might mean for their access. It is very common with online courses to offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's almost the standard for the online course universe, which is difficult to do when you have a subscription system. So just something worth thinking about there. It also requires you to have a level of consistent marketing and promotion. So what you're trying to do is constantly promote people to sign up to your subscriptions to take care of the attrition rates that you might get. Of course, you could be brilliant at this and not have any attrition at all. I wish you lots of luck with that, but you do need a level of constant promotion, I think, and consistent promotion to get people to come into your subscription system in the first place. However, if you have a good flow of people, it's very good for your cash flow forecast. So, you know, your accountant would be happy at least. Last but not least, we are looking at enrollment cycles. These are usually for what's known as flagship courses. So what tends to happen is people will have one big meaty course that contains everything in their niche or everything for their audience, and then a number of subsidiary courses which will contain just snippets really of information from the flagship course. And with this there is some kind of fixed admission cycle. So you think about term time enrolment for schools and colleges, that's what you're looking at with an enrolment cycle for an online course. It adds scarcity and urgency, certainly urgency, to your online courses, which is very good in the online marketing world. Scarcity is if you're saying, look, I'm only taking say 10 or 20 people in the next admission, it opens on the 1st of September and closes on the 30th, and you've only got that time and it's first come first served. So it's those sorts of messages that you're thinking about. At least within an enrolment cycle there is a very clear promotional cycle for you to have, so that's something that your students and prospective students can rely on, but it's very labour intensive in and around the time of your enrolment. There is something called the Crazy 8 sequence of signing people up, which we don't have time to go into here, but that's basically 8 days of hell. At the end of it you should have lots of students and a big success. However, it's incredibly hard work for that period of time. So it will need your undivided attention whilst you are in an enrolment cycle. So if you're unlikely to be able to devote that amount of time to it, then really it's not something that's going to be the right delivery method for you. In addition, you will need to put in some huge personal involvement and sharing into this. For enrolment cycles to work, you really need to work hard on sharing your personal story as to how this stuff was going to help people, how people are going to benefit from taking part in your course. So if you're not prepared to do any of that, then I would steer clear of enrolment as a delivery method for you. Okay, so slightly longer lesson this one, but thank you for your time in listening to it. I hope it's been useful for you, and I will see you in the next one.